is the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast.
Hello, friends. I am back with another edition of the Celebrity Afterlife Report, the only show on the internet that gives you the up-to-the-minute gossip about all your favorite deceased celebrities. I'm the Celebrity Medium, and I have what I think is some pretty hot stuff to tell you about this week. So let's just make this happen, shall we? Some time back, we were following the story of J. Edgar Hoover, the longtime director of the FBI, and his startling transformation in the next world. On the earthly plane, rumors had circulated for years that Hoover and his close friend and chief confidant, Clive Tolson, were gay lovers. So powerful was Hoover in his heyday that no one dared report about the rumors publicly. Hoover and Tolson, who spent most of their working hours together and even vacation together, never addressed the rumors or even acknowledged that they existed. Since transitioning to the afterlife, however, all that has changed. Hoover admitted to a reporter he was gay and that he and Tolson had been lovers for years. Sometime later came a second, perhaps more surprising revelation. Hoover came forward with the fact that he was actually transgendered and announced that he would be living as a woman from that point forward. J. Edgar would henceforth be known as Edith. Tolson tied a bow around the package of surprises by proposing marriage to Edith, who is now living as Mrs. Clive Tolson. The happy couple has been out of the next world public eye for some months now. That, however, changed the other day when, according to one of my sources, a reporter for an Afterlife gossip magazine caught up with them and asked Edith Tolson about her feelings about Caitlyn Jenner and the controversy surrounding her transition and her receiving the Arthur Ashe Courage Award. The former lawman-turned-woman said she understood how difficult it must have been for Bruce Jenner to announce that he was transgendered in public and how much pressure there is to stay in the closet. She said she also knew how Jenner must feel about being the butt of so many jokes because the shame she felt about who she really was is what kept her from being her true self during her time on the earthly plane. Like she had months ago, she again apologized to the LGBT people. She used her authority as FBI director to shame and hurt and asked them to forgive her. She then began to cry and her husband pulled her to him and gave her a big hug. The couple then excused themselves and left the reporter to continue their evening together. Well, it seems we can't go a week without a new development in the ongoing saga of Adolf Hitler, Martin Luther King, and Charles Lindbergh. When we last left the three, Lindbergh was still working on building an all-white community in the afterlife over the strenuous objections of many people. Hitler, who has renounced his Nazi ways, and Dr. King were still among the protesters outside the site of the proposed community. Dr. King's wife, Coretta, had given him an ultimatum. He had to choose between staying at the protest site or coming back home to her. Dr. King decided that the fight against racism was too important to abandon, so he told Coretta he would be staying at the protest site, which reportedly shocked her. Now, from Princess Diana, who I disclosed a few weeks back, has been one of my most reliable sources for Next World gossip for some time, I've heard that Dr. King has actually moved in with the former leader of Germany. No, they're not a couple or anything like that. Reportedly, they have just become such close friends in recent months, and they're spending so much time together leading the picketing against Lindbergh's project that they both thought sharing an apartment just made sense. Diana reports that Dr. King didn't even bother to go to his home to get his things, apparently wanting to avoid an altercation with his wife. So for now, he is sleeping on the couch at the apartment while the former Führer has the single bedroom. I asked the princess if she knew of any sleepovers by lady friends of the two, but she said she hasn't heard anything about that. But stay tuned. On last week's report, we had a story about Fred Trump, father of the Donald, and currently husband of actress-singer Judy Garland, responding to some over-the-top comments his son has been making on the presidential campaign trail. Trump Sr. refused at the time to say he was ashamed of his son, but did tell a reporter he was sorry he had left Donnie, as he called him, so much money in his will. Since then, candidate Trump has made some extremely controversial comments about Senator John McCain. He's not a war hero, said Trump. He was a war hero because he was captured. I like people who weren't captured, he told an audience in Ames, Iowa. That comment has caused a firestorm of criticism from people, including John McCain. Now, from several of my Afterlife sources comes word that even Trump's father has heard enough. When he and his new wife showed up at a red carpet event after his son shut his mouth off, reporters rushed to him to ask him for his reaction. The other day, I was reluctant to say I was ashamed of my son. That is no longer true. Based on what he said about Senator McCain, who is a war hero, I am now ashamed of Donald. I wish he didn't have my last name. Senator McCain has given more to this country than my son ever could or would. Donald had several deferments to stay out of the war John McCain fought in because he is a coward. That's difficult for me to say, but it's the truth. If there's any way for Donald to get word of how I feel about him now, I hope he hears about it. I'm done with him. Unquote. Phew, that's the strong words from a man who's always defended his son until now. Personally, I hope Donald Trump is told what his father said about him and that he considers his words more carefully in the future. Lastly, those of you old enough to remember the Lassie TV series or movies may know that the title character was portrayed by several nearly identical collies. Rudd Weatherwax was the man who trained the original Lassie and several of the dog's successors. Currently, Weatherwax and the original Lassies are all residents of the Afterlife. According to my source for this story, he has been trying for some time now to revive the Lassie franchise, and it looks as if he's about to succeed. Weatherwax has managed to get a production company together to make a movie titled The Lassie Squad. The plot, I am told, will feature all the look-alike dogs as a canine crime-fighting squad in a major city. The Lassies roam the streets, performing rescues and arrests just as human police officers do. The movie is scheduled to start filming next month. Okay, I'm done here for now. Please come back next week when I'll have more up-to-the-minute gossip about all your favorite deceased celebrities. Until then, please spread the word that the report is available for free on iTunes. I'm the Celebrity Medium. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast. To ask a question about your favorite deceased celebrity, call 818-3-MY-DREAM. 818-3-MY-DREAM. 818-369-3732.